If you see my previous video, you'll see how I made all of this shelving using baton and oak ply. And now I just need to face the front to pretty them up. I'm going to be using oak veneer. It was slightly uneven at the front with the oak ply sticking out in places, so I sanded them down smooth with my angle grinder using my sanding pad disc. It's really useful. I really like sanding with an angle grinder because it really takes it off quickly. And then I filled in any gaps to make sure it was all nice and flat to give a good finish with the oak veneer. Just going back, I forgot to show you how I made the tops of the shelves right up at the ceiling to bring the height down a little bit. All I did was put some baton up with screw and adhesive, and here's me making a mistake. There's a lot of that happens that you don't see. And then I glued in plywood above, flush with the baton, filled in all the gaps and painted over. It's not load bearing, it's going to be fine like that. So I did start off painting the fronts of the shelving. I think I was just scared of using the oak veneer. I ended up deciding to go for it because the paint didn't look very good. This is white oak, I think it's American oak, is it called? This is one I did earlier, not varnished yet and not filled in at the edges. Next part was to do this upright. You'd have to do the uprights before you do the verticals before you do the horizontals. Just roughly cut it to length with my Stanley knife and a metal ruler, sorry. Just cutting out marking out for a notch to go around the tiling. It's easy to cut out. I bought this oak ply on eBay and it was quite cheap. I've got a very large roll. I think it was something like £15, which it proved to be a lot cheaper than buying oak, proper oak. You know, I was thinking about buying 1 centimetre thick oak, but that would have been about more than £100, so I went for this instead. I attached it at the top with a clamp to make it easier. Use the iron without steam on a hot setting. It's very easy, just keep going over it, feeling it to make sure that it's not got any bubbles. You listen for popping noises, and then if you've got hear a popping noise, you know that there's a hollow underneath, and just go over it again with your iron. Keep feeling with your hands so that you know that each side is the same. Strictly speaking, I should have used wider veneer and trimmed down with a Stanley knife, but this veneer was exactly the same width. I think it was 5 centimetres, the same width as the shelves, so I just decided to go for the same width, and it's worked out very well actually. But the correct way to do it would have been to buy 60mm veneer and to trim down. Go down the edges as well at an angle to make sure that you glue down the edges very nice and neatly, securely. It doesn't matter if they round off a little bit at the edge, just so long as they're really well glued down at the edge, because obviously that's the most likely place for them to, for the veneer to come off, to start to peel off. Takes quite a while, go over it and over it. I didn't burn any of this veneer with the iron, even though I was going over it a lot. I'm using my metal ruler to start off a cut, to get a fold going before I cut it with my Stanley knife. This is the first time I've done this, by the way, and I didn't really know how to do it. I think I watched a couple of videos, and there aren't many videos actually showing how to do it the way I've done it, without cutting it down. But it's very simple. Any gaps can be filled in afterwards with wood filler. Make sure you remove anything sticking out that will prevent the veneer from gluing flat against your surface or create a bump. On the shelves, I started to glue on the middle and worked my way out from the middle. Really be careful with the edges, make sure you've really got them well glued down. You have to push on quite hard, go over it and over it to make sure that the edges and the ends are all really well glued down. And go over feeling for bubbles, hollows. You'll hear it clicking if there is a hollow, and if there is, just go over it again with the iron, and then fill in any gaps with wood filler. Go for the same colour as your wood will look once it's varnished or oiled. I use my hands a lot as my main tool. Just very lightly sanding it down mostly to get rid of the excess filler. Just sand it down at the edge a little bit, just so it's got a nice smooth finish. Now I'm varnishing, I'm getting extra varnish into the edge to make sure that that is all completely filled in and nice and strong. I'm using Ronseal varnish. I can't remember what type of varnish it was. I think it was an oil-based varnish. I decided that as it's veneer, it's quite thin, the priority was toughness rather than finish, so I went for oil-based varnish rather than oil. It's nearly finished now. I just have to put one more coat of varnish on, and I have to try to flatten down one bubble. I'm sure I will be able to if I go over it with the iron again. You'll be able to see it in a second. There it was. Not too bad. The rest was really flat, and I'm very happy with the result. I'm really happy with my choice. It was a cheap and easy and quick option. A lot quicker than having to wait for oak to arrive. You could just pop to the shop and buy it. Pop to B&Q. I think B&Q might sell this oak veneer. You've probably noticed that I have no cupboard doors on the base unit or on these shelves, and that's because I don't want doors. I want to have some curtains, so I will be making some curtains for the largest openings at the bottom and some of the shelves at the top. That's more in keeping with an old house. Please subscribe to my channel, and thanks for watching.